every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is a story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for joining us on CoreTV Primetime News. I am Frank Omalape in our major story. President Muhammadu Buhari holds first security meeting with service chiefs. Also in this program, a bomb has exploded at a popular abattoir in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, killing scores of people. President Muhammadu Buhari has requested outside Nigeria, a tourist believed to be from the US has been killed in a lion attack at a game park in South Africa. Thank you for joining us tonight. Nigeria's defense chiefs are to work out modalities for the relocation of the command and control center of the war against insurgency to Maiduguri. This is in the aftermath of a lengthy meeting they had with President Muhammadu Buhari on the security situation in the country. Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Usman Jibril, who spoke with newsmen at the end of the closed-door meeting, said the security chiefs gave the president a full briefing on the situation. An armed bomb has exploded at a popular abattoir in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. The incident happened this afternoon near a commercial toilet facility within the Gamboru abattoir, which is the biggest slaughterhouse in Maiduguri. Eyewitnesses says the bomb was wrapped in a bag, while the owner of the bag, suspected to be a member of the Boko Haram insurgents, pretended to use the facility. Rescue efforts are ongoing as officials of the National Emergency Management Authority, the Red Cross and the State Fire Service have been deployed to the scene. Although no official statement have been released from the authorities, residents say no fewer than 20 people were killed in the blast. Meanwhile, Boko Haram militants armed with rocket propeller grenades had attempted to invade Maiduguri in the early hours of today, but were repelled by the Nigerian troops. Meanwhile, Boko Haram has dismissed recent claims by the military that it has been restricted to a small part of the Sambisa forest. The insurgents group also insists that it is still in control of most of the town and villages it sees in the northeast Nigeria. An unidentified Boko Haram member said this in a video posted on YouTube, but which does not show the group's leader, Abubakar Shekau. The video was released at a time the insurgents have stepped up their hit-and-run attack on Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. The unidentified speaker, whose face was covered by a head cap, also called the four nations which have been involved in a joint offensive against the group as aligned coalition partners. He added that a 4-hour drive around Sambisa forest will prove that the game's reserve is still under Boko Haram control. The video, which bears the logo Islamic State in West Africa, is the first video released by Boko Haram since February, when Shekau vowed to disrupt Nigeria's elections. Nigeria's defense authorities have yet to comment on the latest video from Boko Haram. And now the trial of Aminu Oguche, the alleged mastermind of the 2014 Yanyabos terminal bombing, and 5 others at the Federal High Court, Abuja, has been stalled. This follows a fresh application filed by the prosecution Mohammed Dwere, urging the court to try the suspect under a new criminal act. The defense counsel Ahmad Raji, however, opposed the trial of the accused persons under the law. Trial Judge Ahmed Mohammed adjourned to June 3 to determine whether the suspect should be tried under the Criminal Justice Act. Away from there now, the Civil Rights Coalition, the Stop Impunity in Nigeria campaign, has asked the chairman of the Code of Conduct Bureau to make available to reach the asset declaration form submitted to the Bureau by President Muhammadu Buhari and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. The application was made in pursuant to the Freedom of Information Act 2011 and delivered to the office of the Bureau's chairman on Monday. The coalition, comprising the Center for Social Justice, Community Life Project, Human Development Initiative, and Media Rights Agenda, said it expects to receive the document within the 7 days as stipulated by the FOI Act. President Muhammadu Buhari has requested the approval of the Senate to appoint 15 special advisors to assist him in his functions as President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. The President, in a letter addressed to Senate,
which confers on me to appoint special advisors
with Section 151, subsection 1, 2, and 3 of the Nigerian Constitution.
Special advisors to assist me in the performance of my functions. I write to request for your kind consideration and approval of the distinguished members of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to appoint 15 special advisors as prescribed in Section 151, subsections 2 to 3 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, while trusting that this exercise will receive the traditional prompt attention of the Senate. Please accept, Mr. President, the assurance of my highest consideration. Yours sincerely, signed, Muhammadu Buhari, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal.
Meanwhile, the Senate has hailed President Muhammadu Buhari and his predecessor, Goodluck Jonathan, for setting the stage for a successful presidential inauguration. This was on the basis of a motion by Senate leader Victor Ndomba.
I think for the first time,
107 other senators. The federal lawmakers noted that for the first time since 1999, the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal did not have cause to sit.
Time in the history of this National Assembly, who happens to be at a particular time my visiting lecturer, this very important motion, to congratulate Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Bulwa.
Fighting for boosting our economy, I totally agree with him. But I Northeast permanently, from Balewa to date.
It is a thing of shame in our country because there's a new leadership for people to come out and be throwing pebbles as chief judges, as former governors, as senators who attend the inauguration ceremony, which will be a thing of celebration. This is a place where leaders from over 50 countries attended this inauguration, and they told the whole world that Nigeria has established a new development.
We are basking in euphoria today, congratulating them for a peaceful, successful election. And this has put our false prophets to shame, who said that Nigeria would not have gone beyond the general election exercise.
For the first time in the history of this country, we discovered that the presidential election is not before any tribunal. I think that's a milestone in our democratic progress, and we must acknowledge that that is a mark of statesmanship and a demonstration of acceptance of the will of the people. We also congratulate our own colleagues from the National Assembly here who have gone to become governors. Although my position on that is very different, I think going from the Senate to become a governor is not a movement forward. In my own candid opinion, it's a movement backwards. But if you decide to move backwards, to sacrifice and work for your people, then we should also congratulate you.
And now, contrary to widespread reports of the PDP leadership and Governor Yodele Fauci's plea to President Muhammadu Buhari to re-intervene in the ongoing impeachment move instituted against Governor by the 19 APC lawmakers, the PDP and the Governor are taking a U-turn, saying they are not begging the President, but only call on him to allow the rule of law prevail in impeachment case. Speaking in Ado-Ekiti as a solidarity visit to the governor, the PDP leadership, led by the acting chairman Uche Sekanda, said Fauci cannot be impeached as there is a court order restraining the impeachment move.
In an apparent solidarity for the embattled governor of Ekiti State, the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party in Ado-Ekiti made a clear departure from its earlier position, saying the national leadership of the APC and the lawmakers are neck-deep in Fauci's impeachment plot.
The leadership of the APC and the State House of Assembly of APC have ganged up, planned, and want to illegally impeach their governor. The PDP as a party and its leadership have not appealed or begged to beg anybody at all. But our appeal is that the rule of law and the due process must be followed.
Governor Fauci, keen behind his party, says he is not begging, but the rule of law be respected, saying he is on ground to face any threat from the lawmakers.
The PDP and Fauci, according to what is in front of one of the papers that we are begging, we are not begging. We are not beggars. We are only saying that either side, both opposition and party government, must respect the rule of law. I am here to stay. Tell them, my party, go home and rest. I appreciate you. You have a one-man army, political army here. I don't shake at all.
But in a swift reaction, the Ekiti State All Progressives Congress says the turnaround of the PDP National Working Committee is a sign of double standard and speaking from both sides of the mouth, stressing that Fauci's outburst is a cheap blackmail.
They operate double standard when something is against them. Just like we all listened to their retreat in Port Harcourt yesterday, where the acting national chairman was calling on President Buhari to intervene in Ekiti matter. It is not honorable for a governor to decide to resort to violence and cheap blackmail in running the affairs of a state.
The arrival of the 19 APC lawmakers any moment from now, as pundits observe, may heighten the already tensed situation in the state. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado-Ekiti.
You're watching CoreTV Primetime News. We take a break now, but back shortly with more stories. Join us again.
Women share the most amazing thoughts on national issues, and they do it passionately.
For most men that are educated, that are exposed, will see nothing to it.
The population and the level of poverty made me cry. No infrastructural development whatsoever. And you tell me Lagos is working?
That was an accident. And it was a one-off thing. Other than that, there has never been any situation in Nigeria where a Nigerian attacked anybody just because of where they came from.
Sharing the adorable word of women in politics every week, only on CoreTV News.
If you just joined us, you've been watching CoreTV Primetime News live from our Lagos studios. A reminder of our top stories now. President Muhammadu Buhari holds first security meeting with service chiefs. bomb has exploded at a popular abattoir in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, killing scores of people. President Muhammad Buhari has requested the approval of the Senate in the appointment of 15 special advisors. All our top stories can be found on our social media platforms. It's facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also follow at CoreTV News NG. For live streaming, log on to youtube.com/CoreTV David Space, the news. And now the newly elected president of the African Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina, has promised to improve on eradicating war and poverty in the continent. Adesina made this commitment while appreciating the governor of Ogun State on a courtesy visit. CoreTV News, Olajumoke Olatiji tells us more.
The president of the African Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina, has been speaking on his mission for the development of the continent, saying that policies and programs that will pull the continent out of poverty, war, would be vigorously pursued during his term as the president. He made this known in Abeokuta, the Ogun State's capital, while on a thank-you visit to the Ogun State governor, Bikuna Amosu, in his office. The new AFDP president called for efforts towards reviving the rural economies through agriculture and its value-added chains, just as a call for the rural integration in Africa to ensure peace and stability of the continent.
We will work very hard to develop programs that will end poverty on this continent and that will lead people out of it and create opportunities for shared prosperity all across our continent. Obviously, I think critical issues of infrastructure will be important. Energy for all is going to be important. Electricity is going to be important. Very critical to build private sector, to create wealth all across our continent.
For his own part, the governor of Ogun State has expressed confidence in the ability of Adesina to make a big difference in his new assignments.
Made us proud. We are happy that this is coming at this time. Indeed, the way the structure of the thing is, well, the same day, really, I think 28, back to 29, so your tenure will be the reference point, really. That's our approach.
The governor further appreciated the former Minister of Agriculture for standing out among his peers during the last administration, which he says is a good sign that all hope is not lost. Olajumoke Olatiji, CoreTV News, Abeokuta.
Now the Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode has congratulated Femi Adesina and Garba Shehu on their appointment as the presidential spokesman. Governor Ambode would describe the appointment of Adesina and Shehu by President Muhammad Buhari as well, says he deserves the said situation, while lauding the effort of Shehu Garba, who headed the media and publicity team of the All Progressive Congress presidential campaign. The governor expressed the belief that the two men will bring their wealth of experience to bear on the management of the media image of the president and this cyclical junction of the nation history. And at least goods and property worth millions of naira were lost in a fire incident at Yanakpaja area of Lagos State. The inferno happened when a tanker conveying petrol fell off the Yanakpaja Link Bridge. Our correspondent, Abiola Luwolis, was at the scene and has more in this report from our studios.
As Nigerians continue to look forward to sustainable solutions to the perennial fuel scarcity, road accidents involving petrol tanker drivers have continued to be another challenge in the quest towards ensuring the safety of road users. A tank containing 3 liters of petrol skidded off the road at the Yanakpaja area of Lagos State, leading to a fire outbreak. The director of the Lagos State Fire Service, Idowu Fadipe, says it took the prompt response of his men after a distress call from a resident around 1 a.m. to combat the spread of the inferno.
The fuel spilled into 4 different streets, and it has caused a lot of havoc. We engaged on active firefighting operation, and with the help of the public, we were able to quickly douse the fire.
Fadikwe says 44 shops, 17 vehicles and 6 tricycles were razed in the incident.
No life lost, but there were some people that sustained injuries and were treated by Lasambos.
Residents who lost properties worth millions of naira to the inferno lament the impact of the unfortunate incident.
Everything, all my goods, everything burned. I went to market yesterday. All my money, I borrow money, I go market, buy everything, put on yesterday, Monday. In the night, everything burned. I don't sell anything yesterday. I don't bring even pin, I don't bring out. Everything burned.
After seeing the level of damage caused by the fire, Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode condemned the lawlessness of some tanker drivers on the road, while assuring those affected of adequate relief response by the government.
While we're trying to address all that, we will ensure that all those who have lost properties and even lost their shops will quickly find a way to let them get back to their normal business life. Immediately I will receive the report on this fire incident in the next 48 hours and will ensure that we do something positively so that life can come back to normal here.
According to experts, moving inflammable material through the rail and pipeline are the only effective ways to prevent a reoccurrence of failed tanker-related inferno across the country. This, they say, will curb avoidable loss of lives and property.
Barely 2 working days into the newly sworn-in administration in Imo State, the Imo Broadcasting Commission have taken their grievances over an unpaid salary to the government house in demonstration. They accused the government of owing them 3 months' salaries. While confirming that the workers' salaries have been paid, the government representatives faulted the actions of the workers for taking the harsh way in registering their grievances. Our correspondent Ajibade Officer has details.
In what appears to be a justified demonstration over unpaid salaries, unknown to most of the workers, the state government has said it has paid the 3-month salary they are protesting over. One of the representatives of the workers says it appears there are suspected foul plays within the management of the Imo Broadcasting Commission, as this as a reason for such ignorant and unnecessary protests.
Since March 2015, in this moment, we have not been paid a salary. And the stories we hear, which as a presenter, I was asked to read, is that all the salaries have been paid to all the parastatals, to all civil servants. And we say no.
The secretary to the state government, Honorable Jude Ejogu, speaking on behalf of the governor, Rochas Okorocha, addressed the protesters, assuring them of wading to the matter.
I mean, this is not right for the government. I believe that you know that this government has done well. They have never owed you salaries, and all of a sudden, you have said that you are being owed 3 months' salary. And this is necessitating this type of action. It's not right. The governor himself, if he hears this, he is aware of this. He's not happy, you know. And what I will advise that you go back to work. Let us, I will personally call the Accountant General, call the management of IBC, and find out what the problem is.
As of the time of the protest, the management of the commission had earlier made moves to pay last month's salaries, as most of them reject the gesture, calling for their outright payment of the 3 months arrears. The secretary to the state government, however, assured the workers of proper investigation. Ajibade Awofeso, CoreTV News, Owerri.
Lecturers at the Kaduna Polytechnic have begun a 3-day warning strike. They say the action, which began on Tuesday, is a prelude to an indefinite action if the school authorities fail to meet their demands. Chairman of the school's chapter of the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnic, Musa Ibrahim, disclosed this at a news conference in Abuja.
Management's unwillingness to yield to our immediate legitimate demand in the interest of our students. But our magnanimity is already being taken for granted, as we believe that the issues in contention are very much within the management's control. We have given the benefit of restraint for which management has failed, We have declared a walk to rule action for 3 days, beginning from today. Our members will make appearances in class, but will not teach. If our grievances are not addressed, we shall proceed on a 3 days warning strike, after which we shall declare a total shutdown, should the need arise. We are committed to peace and industrial harmony in Kaduna Polytechnic. We believe the institution's interest and our members' welfare should be of paramount concern. We are also of a strong belief that our management can save the impending debacle by immediately addressing our demand. We are confident that our final immediate conversion into university is the only panacea that will reposition Kaduna Polytechnic.
Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong has appointed the former minority leader of the State House of Assembly, Rufus Bature, as a secretary to the state government. Governor Lalong, on his first day in office, also announced the appointment of John Daffan as Chief of Staff for the Government House, with Yusuf Hawaja as his deputy, while Silas Venn is Deputy Chief of Staff for the Deputy Governor's Office. This was contained in a statement released by the Permanent Secretary Policy and General Service, Izam Ozi. Other appointments made by the governor include Emmanuel Nande, who is the Director of Press Affairs, just as Professor John Wade, the pioneer Vice Chancellor for Plateau State University, Burkos, was named the new Director General Research. Cyril Tensiu was picked as Plateau State Accountant General, while Cletus Kangum, a former Director of Administration at the Jos University Teaching Hospital, emerged as the Principal Private Secretary to the Governor. Meanwhile, Lalong did not resume at the newly built 15 billion naira government house at Litu Rayfield, but at the old Governor's Lodge. And now, a Kuku Libani representing Andoni constituency has emerged as the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, while Stanley Uwam was elected the Deputy Speaker. The lawmakers elected the key officers after the State Governor Nyesom Wike inaugurated the house at the Assembly Complex in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital. And away from there now, 6 central bank staff standing trial over an 8 billion naira currency recycling scam have been remanded in prison custody. This follows after the arraignment by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, before a federal high court sitting in Ibadan, your state. The suspect, Patience Okoro Eye, Afolabi Olufemi Johnson, Ilorin Adekule Sunday, Kolawole Babalola, Olaniro Munuri Adiola, and Fatai Adidokun Yusuf were arraigned on a 5-count charge bordering on conspiracy, fraud, and stealing. The CBN employees were alleged to have compromised the bank's requiting exercise meant to map up mutilated and deface high denomination currencies from circulation to combat inflation. They allegedly substituted the note with newspaper prints neatly cut to currency size instead of destroying the mutilated notes. In view of the plea, prosecuting counsel Rotimi Jacob prayed the court for a trial date and for the defendant to be remanded in prison custody. The defense counsel made an oral application for bail, which was opposed by the prosecution trial judge, Justice Ayo Emmanuel, who, however, adjourned the matter to June 9, 2015 for hearing on the bail applications and July 6 and 7, 2015 for commencement of trial. And all officials of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency and DLEA have apprehended 2 housewives for injecting cocaine. The women who packed the banned substance on their underwear and also inserted some in their private parts were found to possess close to 3 kilograms of cocaine at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos while attempting to board a Qatar Airways flight to China. The women said that they resorted to smuggling cocaine because they were abandoned by their husband. NDLEA commander at the Lagos Airport, Hamza Umaru, described the suspect as desperate traffickers. He revealed that 47-year-old Alaka Deborah Uzoma was found with 1.18 kilogram of cocaine, while the second suspect, 45-year-old Chukwucheju Chinyere Priscilla, was caught with 1.46 kilogram of cocaine. NDLEA confirmed that the women will be charged to court. And now the federal government has begun extradition process at the Federal High Court in Abuja against Franca Asemota, a suspected human trafficker wanted by the British authorities. She's wanted by the UK government for trafficking minors to Europe using London Heathrow Airport as a transit hub. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission said in a statement that the suspect was arrested by operatives on Wednesday, March 24 in Benin, Edo State on suspicion of money laundering offenses. But checks on Asemota's profile later revealed that she had been on the wanted list of Britain's National Crime Agency. The suspect was brought to court as part of steps to extradite her to Britain, but her counsel, Ugochukwu Ezekiel, filed an application for bail. Responding, Muslim Hassans from the Office of the Attorney General the Federation told the court that the application cannot be heard because the case was just for mention. He urged the court to fix a date for hearing of all pending applications. Consequently, Justice Abdul Kafarati adjourned the case to June 3, 2015 for hearing of the bail application and ordered the accused to be remanded in EFCC custody. You're still watching CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take another break. We'll be back with business, sport, and other stories. Join us again.
Every day of the week, we bring to you divergent views on news making the headline.
If people who commit crime are being rewarded with national honors, with national appointments, then where are we going in this country?
It's not about whether it was Jonathan or whether you are going to have a Buhari. It's the kind of political structure we run.
Sometimes it gets confrontational.
We are talking about a Buhari who at 41 became head of state. The man did not exhibit the attribute of somebody that is strong intellectually.
So, comrade, you're saying if you become governor, you're going to bring back Okada?
Of course.
You will bring back the market women on the streets?
Excuse me, don't put words in my mouth.
On Core Digest, we bring all of this to the court of public opinion, where you are the judge.
Glad to have you back. Just in now, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, said a notice of application for extradition of Buruji Kashamu to the United States has also been served on the Ogun East Senator-elect. In the application made to the Chief Judge, Federal High Court in Abuja, the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation is seeking the extradition of Buruji Kashamu to answer alleged drug trafficking charges. The Anti-Narcotics Agency said the move is in line with the Extradition Act, CAP E25 laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 as modified by Extradition Act Modification Order in 2014. It hinted that the notice of the suit was officially served on Kashamu by the NDLEA on Monday, 1st of June 2015. And away to business now, the National Electricity Regulatory Commission is proposing a capped estimation billing system in response to complaints over billing. To pave way for its introduction, the Commission held a public hearing in Abuja to seek the opinion of electricity consumers and other stakeholders on the new system. But despite the convictions of NEC on the benefit, not many are convinced it will work.
What NEC is doing today is part of their rule, part of their job, to ensure that a proper system is set up for the existence of the independent system operator. And that is why they have called this meeting. This is the beginning of a long process. At the end of the day, we will look at several practices in different countries, and then we'll be able to adopt one for Nigeria.
The company must be made whole. Otherwise, if the billing, even that comes up from this cap, does not cover the cost of operation of these discos, there's no incentive for any investor to want to do additional investment. So in doing capping, you have to do that capping. I get the income and ensure that the incomes are cost effective. Otherwise, it's not going anywhere.
From the meaning of the word ISO, Independent Service Provider,
we understand that it's something independent. But what we are worried about is the TOR, the framework. What is the meaning behind it? Because if ISO is independent, what we look at is the unbundling of the TCN. It then means it should be independent to bring in new actors. These actors should be consumer friendly.
Now, the House of Representatives on Tuesday passed the 193 billion naira 2015 budget for Federal Capital Territory. The lawmakers were unanimously in support of the bill presented by House Leader Mulikat Akonde Adeola. Out of the 193.8 billion naira budgeted, 45.9 was allocated to personnel costs, while 33.8 billion naira is to be spent on overhead costs and 114 billion naira on capital projects. Now, the Federal High Court has ordered the vacation of the Securities and Exchange Commission of May 21, 2015 to suspend the company and its sponsors, individual directors from all capital market activities. In a ruling dated May 27, 2015 and served on all parties on May 28, an order of interim injunction staying, suspending the implementation of the findings or recommendation reached by the purported Executive Management Committee pending the hearing and determination of the motion or notice filed by BGL PLC was granted in Lagos. Further, the court ordered in EFCC that SEC should put in abeyance its decisions and respect these and previous court orders issued in respect of the subject plaintiffs, BGL PLC. BGL Asset Management Limited, Capital Limited, BGL Security Limited, and Albal Okomaga. The National Bureau of Statistics puts the final expenditure on gross domestic product of the three tiers of government at 42.81% in the first quarter of the year. This is contained in a statement issued in Abuja by the Statistician General of the Federation, Yemi Kale. He said that the figure was higher than the 7.53% and 16.56% recorded in the first quarter and fourth quarter of 2014 respectively. In real terms, the share to expenditure of GDP declined from 8.54% in the fourth quarter in 2014 to 8.34% in the first quarter of the current year. In real terms, the expenditure on the gross fixed capital formation component of the GDP growth at a slower rate both relative to the preceding quarter and to the corresponding quarter of 2014. Nominal growth declined by 57.70% in the first quarter of 2015, lower than the 50.49% growth recorded in the first quarter of 2014. According to NBS, composition of employees slowed during the first quarter of 2015, decreasing by 2.49% year-on-year, and in real terms declining by 9.99% year-on-year. Onto forex market now. Today, the naira traded at a 217 naira to a dollar with no price changes, as the exchange rate remains flat compared to its previous date value. The Nigerian currency closed flat when compared to its previous date value. The official naira USD exchange rate, however, moves to 196.95 to a dollar, reflecting the dwindling demand for dollar. Brent crude price was, however, at 65.05 per barrel as at early today. Let's now join Sabana Izoku for stock market report.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report.
Hello there and welcome to the Stock Market Report segment with me, Sabana Izoku. The equities transaction on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today as the Nigerian All-Shares Index appreciated by 0.05% to close at 34,061.89 basis points. The market capitalization increased to close at 11.57 trillion naira. In all, a total volume of 224 million units of shares valued at 3.47 billion naira exchanged in 3,940 deals. And on the gainer side, Mobil topped the chart to close at 150 naira with a price difference of 3 naira, followed by Nigerian Breweries, CAP PLC, Eco Transnational Incorporation, and Unilever. And on the flip side, 40 Oil topped the chart, followed by Owando Oil, Presco, Guarantee Trust Bank, and Zenith Bank. And for the top trader side, United Bank for Africa topped the chart, followed by Eco Transnational Incorporation, Zenith Bank, Guarantee Trust Bank, and First Bank Nigerian Holders. Just before we wrap up the stock market report, here is the currency trade for today. I am Sabena Izoku.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report.
Thank you, Sabena. In sports now, Sir Blatter has announced he will step down as president of FIFA, calling an extraordinary congress as rapidly as possible, at which a successor will be selected. The Swiss announced his decision at a hastily arranged press conference on Tuesday after his Secretary General, Jerome Vacque, has earlier been implicated in the U.S. Department of Justice's investigations into a $10 million payment to indicted former FIFA president or vice president Jack Warner. Blatter has been president since 1998 and was re-elected for a fifth term only 4 days before his resignation. The Catalan last won the competition in 2011, and the Brazil striker moved to Camp Nou 2 years later, winning his first trophies this term in the La Liga title and the Copa del Rey. His legendary compatriot Ronaldo never won the competition despite representing Barca, Real Madrid, AC Milan and Inter during his illustrious career, and Neymar is determined to outdo the 38-year-old. The Brazilian believes that Ronaldo's failure to win the competition shows how tough it is as he prepares for his first European Cup final. Barca clashed with Juventus in Berlin on Saturday earlier in around 20:45 Central African time. Just days after scoring in Wolfsburg a DFB Pokal final victory over Borussia Dortmund on Saturday, the 27-year-old midfielder was found to have suffered meniscus damage and will undergo surgery. He has started 7 of Coach Dunga's 8 matches in charge, having been rested in March's severely Brazil global top victory over Chile only because the game arrived less 72 hours. The Bulls' ideal recovery period after the win over France in Paris. A replacement for Luis Gustavo is yet to be confirmed, with Fred, Felipe Anderson, Rafinha, Alcantara and Kaka Orlando City. The options open to Dunga after they were named on Brazil's standby list. And FIFA says it's paid $10 million, equivalent to 6.5 million euros, to a Caribbean football body led by Jack Warner, who is charged by the US with corruption at South Africa's request. South Africa's instruction was that the money was for a diaspora legacy program which should be implemented directly by Warner. FIFA said the US says the $10 million was a bribe in exchange for Mr. Warner supporting South Africa's 2010 World Cup bid. Mr. Warner and South African officials have denied any wrongdoing. Ghana survived a late fight back to beat Argentina 3-2 in Group B at the Under-20 World Cup in New Zealand. Benjamin Tete, Clifford Abuagi and a penalty from Yo Yeboah gave Ghana a 3-0 lead by 70th minute. Giovanni Simeon and Emiliano Bund then scored in the last 10 minutes for Argentina. The result means that Ghana have 4 points along with Austria, who earlier in the day beat Panama 2-1, the Black Satellite top Group B on goals scored. Yeboah's penalty was his second goal of the tournament, as he scored to salvage a draw for Ghana against Austria on the opening day of the tournament. Ghana's final Group B game is against Panama on Friday, while Austria faces Argentina at the same time. And outside Nigeria now, a tourist believed to be from the U.S. has been killed in a lion attack at a game park in South Africa. The lioness jumped through the open window of the couple's car and started mauling the woman. Paramedics were called to the scene, but she died from her injury while the man is still receiving treatment. The popular lion park is 30 north of Johannesburg. The park's rules forbid visitors from driving through the lion enclosure with their windows down. Park rangers chased the lioness away after the attack, and it is not clear whether the animal will now have to be pulled down. Local media are reporting that the woman's death marks the third incident in the past 4 months at the park. And now the legal authority for U.S. spy agencies to bulk collect Americans' phone data has expired after the Senate failed to reach a deal. Republican presidential hopeful Rand Paul blocked a Patriotic Act extension, and it elapsed at midnight. However, the Senate did vote to advance the new White House-backed Freedom Act, so a new form of data collection is likely to be approved in the coming days. The Freedom Act imposes more controls after revelations by Edward Snowden, the former National Security Agency NSA contractor, first exposed the extent of the data collection in 2013. The White House described the expiry of the deadline as an irresponsible act by the Senate. Well, it does it on the CoreTV Primetime News. Just before we go tonight, a recap of a major headline. We told you that President Muhammadu Buhari hosts first security meeting with service chiefs. We also reported that the bomb has exploded at a popular laboratory in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, killing scores of people. And finally tonight, President Muhammadu Buhari has requested the approval of the Senate in the appointment of 15 special advisors. Thank you for watching CoreTV Primetime News. On behalf of the entire news crew, I am Frank Omalape. Have a splendid night rest.